Greetings and welcome back to Nostalgic News, starring another Geek123. This is the series where I regularly go over brand new news revolving around nostalgic properties in the film, TV show and video game business. So anyways, let's get into episode 1. Okay, so the first piece I have today is that Batman The Long Halloween, one of the most acclaimed storylines in Batman comics from the 90s, is now getting a 2-part animated film adaptation in 2021. If you don't know what this story is all about, this story takes place during Batman's early days of crime fighting, along with a mysterious killer named Holiday appears, who murders people on holidays, one each month. This also shows the transition of Batman fighting simple mob goons to fighting full-fledged supervillains. This 2-part film will also release alongside another Batman animated film we know of named Batman Soul of the Dragon, which will take us all the way back to the 70s. Honestly, it's not surprising we're finally getting this film, because we know that from the past years and DC fandom, the company loves their Batman-centered films. This includes many other big Batman storylines such as The Dark Knight Returns from 2012 and 2013, Batman Under the Red Hood from 2010, and many more. Going back to The Long Halloween, during DC fandom, host Matt Boomer announced this 2-part adaptation. Part 1 will release in the summer and Part 2 will release in the fall. There has not been any official word about voice cast yet. But from what we see in the 13 issues from the comics, we will see Batman track down the Holiday Killer, while we see Two-Face's origin, while also seeing characters such as Joker, Poison Ivy and more. Moving on to the next piece, Phineas and Ferb the movie, Candace Against the Universe, the movie reviving the 2007 hit cartoon that could be released by the time this video is out, cut out a scene featuring Jack McBrayer. If you don't know this film, this revolves around the older sister Candace being abducted by aliens, with Phineas and Ferb embarking on a journey to rescue her. We also know that this film will have a cameo appearance from Ali Wong, Wayne Brady, Tiffany Haddish and Bill Farmer. However, we know that Jack McBrayer was meant to appear in the film as well. During an interview with Comic Book, the creators of the show and movie, Jeff Marsh and Dan Povmer, revealed this cameo in the original version of the movie. The creators wanted McBrayer to play a character named Irvin, and they built up an hilarious sequence around him, where he starts to act like a dog and pull on other characters' clothes. However, they said it got cut due to Disney feeling that it would ruin the movie's runtime. The two also applauded board artist Kyle Mankey's brilliant cinematography and animation, saying these scenes were very dear to these creators because it manifested to the movie's spectacular animation. They also plan to eventually upload the clips onto Twitter as a movie extra. The two even joked about having a 3.5-hour version of the cut to be released on Disney+, so release the Marsh and Povmer cut? Moving on to the news about the live-action adaptation of Mulan from 1998, Disney Plus's international pricing details have now released that this film will be cheaper internationally compared to the US, who already know they have to pay around $30. Obviously, this film has been everywhere in the news for months, from it being set to be released in cinemas in March, then being delayed due to the coronavirus, making it pushed back to July 24th, then to being delayed again into August 21st, to just being removed from cinemas to release on Disney Plus in September 4th. However, it has been said that US users will have to pay an additional $30 for it. However, even with all the backlash from media and even cinemas, Disney still intends to release this film on Disney Plus internationally, with even still releasing the film in international cinemas for countries that don't have Disney Plus, including China. Anyway, to the actual news, now that Disney Plus international price details for this movie has been revealed, we know the following countries and their prices for the movie. The UK will have to pay around £20, Canada will have to pay $35 Canadian, most European countries will have to pay €22, New Zealand will have to pay $40 New Zealand dollars, and Australia will have to pay $35 Australian dollars. This overall makes the international price roughly around $26, making it overall cheaper than the US price. Moving on to the next piece, Bill and Ted Face the Music, the duo's third movie will end a whole series that started all the way back in 1989. As we know, the first film named Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure shown Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves play Bill and Ted, who are high school buddies who want to start a band, but are about to fail their history class, which means Ted could be sent to military school. This is until Rufus, a tracker from the future, where the band is the foundation for a perfect society, meets them. Rufus also has a time machine which Bill and Ted use to travel to various points of history, which helps them complete their history presentation. The wacky film obviously was a hit, and a sequel named Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey where Bill and Ted get killed by their robot doubles in the future, but escape their afterlife and save the future. However, though, the film failed, but became a cult classic. However, the duo now finally have the movie Bill and Ted Face the Music, and probably will have been released on premium VOD and select cinemas now, which is nearly 30 years after Bogus Journey. This time the duo has to save the future by making a song that will reunite the universe. Now onto the news. During an interview with Comic Book, Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon, creators of Bill and Ted, revealed that they are done telling the hero's story. In summary, the two have said that they are ready to stand down, with everything being complete, with saying 3 is the magic number and that this is the end. This came when the duo got asked if the 4th movie would ever happen if this film was successful this time round. Moving on to the next piece, The Thing is once again making a comeback, this time with filmmaker John Carpenter making the main role in production of the movie. There have overall been several incarnations of The Thing over the years. John Carpenter was actually the one who directed the 1982 version, which was a reboot of the 1951 film The Thing from Another World. This film actually heavily failed as well, but became a cult following, which made a prequel of the same name be a thing in 2011. However, this one failed even more, and well, let's just say it's not a cult classic. Now, a decade later, The Thing may be ready for another return. Variety reports Carpenter is developing a new reboot for the movie, which he first commented on at the Fantasia International Film Festival. However, he did not say if he was directing the film or not, but if he did, this would be the first time he'd be back behind the camera since 2010's The Ward. The reboot will also be a collaboration between Carpenter and Blumhouse Productions, with Blumhouse rapidly putting out movies over the past few years. That includes rebooting sequels of existing properties. They even were the ones behind the 2018 reboot of Halloween, which even has Carpenter composing the score of the sequel Halloween Kills. Now onto some TV news. The cast and creator of The West Wing will reunite this fall to tape a special episode in order to encourage more Americans to vote in the election. The show was originally created and written by Aaron Sorkin and ran between 1999 until 2006 and was hailed for its depiction of the international politics of the White House. The show is also a massive hit, being regarded as the greatest political drama series in TV history. Martin Sheen, Rob Lowe, Alison Janney, John Spencer, Bradley Whitford, Richard Schneef, Dual Hill and Janelle Monáe all had major roles and contributed to what has been called the greatest drama cast ever assembled. Now that the cast, along with Sorkin and some surprise guests, are set to reunite to film a special episode of The West Wing for HBO Max. According to Variety, the show will be set to be filmed and released in the fall. With most of the cast returning, it is unsure if McGarry will be in the episode or who will play him, since Spencer passed away in late 2005. Michelle Obama will also appear and Thomas Schlamme will direct. Moving on to the next piece, a brand new trailer for Cobra Kai Season 3, which continues the Karate Kid, has released. The trailer also indicates that Daniel might not know everything about Mr. Miyagi. Season 3 of the show was only set for production after Season 2, and left YouTube after they said they were changing their direction with YouTube Red. Sony, who owns and produces the show, have now agreed to put the first 2 seasons and premiere the third on Netflix. The show is also known to feature many characters from the original 80s franchise reprising their former roles. Hey, Ali Mills was teased in the last season, so maybe she could return. However, the bigger name we know who's making a big return from the end of the trailer is that someone else from Mr. Miyagi's past visits Daniel. Maybe this could be Chozen, who was Daniel's antagonist in Karate Kid Part 2. But hey, we'll just have to find out in 2021 when the new season premieres on Netflix. The next piece is probably the biggest, and that is that a live action reboot of the superhero cartoon The Powerpuff Girls is coming to the CW from Berlanti Productions and Warner Bros. Yep, the network that gave us the popular Arrowverse and adapted the colourful kids content Archie into Riverdale, that's more aimed for adults, are now making a live action adaptation of the Powerpuff Girls. The cartoon from the animation legend Craig McCracken was rebooted before in 2016, but as another animated series. Both animated series followed a trio of child superheroes, Blossom, Buttercup and Bubbles, as they attempt to balance family life with the professor who created them and protect the city of Townsville. However, as the first show is heavily acclaimed, the second show did have a good start, but ultimately failed, giving us a modern take of this original charm. Now, according to Variety, the live action reboot will follow the girls in their early to mid 20s. They are now retired and disillusioned from having lost their childhoods to work as superheroes, but may have to put all that to the side to reunite once again to protect the world from evil. The series will be created by Diablo Cody, who is more known for making Juno and co-creating One Mississippi. They also will make it with Heather Renger, who has worked on iZombie and the Veronica Mars reboot. Moving on to video game news, after a long wait, Rocksteady has finally revealed its new game with a new look at DC fandom. The game is titled Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The game has a new poster and a teaser with a release date for 2022 for PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. The trailer shown during the event features members of the squad goofing off and them springing into action against enemy forces. The trailer then ends with Superman showing up as the squad realises they have to take down the hero who is now taken over by evil. The follow-up with host Will Arnett suggests that the four main characters will be Harley Quinn, Deadshot, King Shark and Captain Boomerang, tasked with defeating the Justice League. It's a 1 to 4 player co-op with all four characters represented, though you can still play single player and can switch between them. Arnett also made a brief interview with Rocksteady's Saffron Hill, who said this game will be a part of the Arkham universe that started all the way back in 2009. Moving on to the final piece, Nintendo has shown a fresh look at Kingdom Hearts and Melody of the Memory. The Kingdom Hearts spin-off, which is coming on November 13th, pre-orders are now available as well. A trailer also debuted during the Nintendo Direct presentation on 26th of August and showed a variety of music including Frozen's Let It Go. Along with a closer look at its multiplayer options, it will have a versus battle to compete online for higher scores and an 8-player local free-for-all mode. As announced, the game is also coming to PS4 and Xbox One in addition to the Nintendo Switch. Pre-order also costs $60. So that has been the first episode of Nostalgic News. Expect more episodes to come soon. Thank you for watching. As always, I have been another Geek123. Thank you all so much for reliving the nostalgia, and I'll see you guys later, and peace. Have a good one.